In this week's episode of Working with Work, it's all about simplifying your goals. Hello and welcome to episode 20 of my Working with Work series. Barney today has decided to have a guest appearance, hence the start of this video. But let's move into the topic of this particular video, and that is simplifying your goals. Now, over the last few months, I've been doing quite a bit of research on goals and particularly why most people fail at achieving their goals. And this is for a project that I'm working on this month, and you'll see the results of that coming up over the next few weeks, and hopefully you'll be able to sign up for this special project by the end of this month. But what I wanted to do was take this opportunity in this episode to help some of the more common problems with setting goals that a lot of people find, and hopefully I'll be able to set you on your way at least to be able to start achieving some of those goals so that you start to feel like you're moving in the right direction. Now, one of the biggest problems that people have when setting goals is that they're not clearly defining the end result. Now, one of the things that I've found, and I know that sounds very academic, clearly defining the end result or defining the outcome you want, but really what that actually means is visualizing the end result, visualizing the way you're going to feel, visualizing what you're going to have. Now, whether that's if it's losing weight, for example, you need to visualize fitting into the clothes that you really want to wear, or you can visualize yourself on the beach over the summer if you just want to lose a few pounds before you go off on your summer vacation. But for others, it could be something a little bit higher than that. It could be like buying your first home. Now, that's actually quite a big project. Now, what you need to be able to do is to, before you sit down and work out the step-by-step approach of what you're going to need to do to achieve that goal, you actually need to visualize what kind of house you want. Because if you just write down on a piece of paper to buy my first house, but you have no vision of what that house is going to look like, it is going to be very difficult to motivate yourself on those days where you really don't want to get out of bed to go out and earn the money that you need to be able to put down the deposit or even buy the house in cash if you can do that. You're not going to have that incentive. You really, really need to visualize what it feels like to actually have and attain that goal. Now, my goal, as most of you guys know who've watched this series, my goal for this year is to put myself in a position where I can buy a Range Rover Velar in March 2018. That is my goal, and I have completely visualized what it's going to be like once I buy this car. I've visualized where I can go, where I want to go with my wife and Barney, who started this episode today. This is what I wanted to do, and I've visualized that whole experience. I've laid down on the sofa with some relaxing music, and I've just imagined what it's going to be like going off into the countryside here in Korea, which, by the way, is an amazingly beautiful place. And I've imagined just driving in all weathers, in the snow, in the glorious sunshine that we have these days, because we're just coming to the end of the spring and moving into the summer, and also in the autumn with the amazing autumnal colors. All that has been visualized in my mind about what it's going to be like. So on those days where I feel like cancelling my classes because I just want to sit at my computer and develop content, I just look at the picture I have on my desktop, which is a picture of the Velar, and I just get out. I can promise you I will go out there and I will teach, because every single dollar that I earn this year really is going to count towards buying that car. Now, this is a short-term goal. This is a one-year goal, but it's the same when you have like your life goals. For example, if you have a particular idea about what you want to do when and if you retire, and even where you want to retire, then you really need to be very, very clear about what it's going to look like, what it's going to feel like, and what it's going to just be like before you can move backwards and work on the steps that it is going to take you to get there. So really, when I mean about simplifying your goal, it needs to start with a vision. It really needs to start with a visualization of what it's going to be like. Now, the second part to this episode is the simplification. Now, I often talk about simplification, but when it comes to goals, it really is important. Now, I've read a lot of books on improving your life and having a successful life and things like that. One of the mistakes I think these books make is that they tell you to write out all the goals that you have and to start working towards them from day one. Now, I remember reading several books, one of which included The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People back in when I was in my early 20s. And the problem I had is I followed it step by step and I had way too many goals and I just could not focus on any particular one. So it wasn't until I got into my mid-30s that the penny dropped, if you like. I suddenly realized, wait a minute, this isn't working. What did work, because I feel like I have a very, very, I wouldn't necessarily say successful life because I'm not a multi-millionaire and I don't live in several properties around the world. But in terms of my marriage, in terms of my work, and in terms of everything else that's going on in my life, I would say I have a pretty successful life. I am very, very happy. But that only happened when I actually streamlined and simplified my goals. Once I realized that, what is it that I really want to be? What is it that I really want in life? So one of the things that I really hate is when I start gaining weight and I get a little bit of a wobbly tummy, as we say. I really hate that. Now, some people are okay with that and it really doesn't matter. But personally, I don't like that feeling. I like to be able to walk around and just feel proud of my shape. It's not that easy to say that, but that's what I do. I like that feeling. So I exercise. And those moments where I'm just not in the mood to exercise, all I have to do is imagine myself being overweight, and that is going to be the catalyst that will get me off my chair onto the floor and doing those push-ups and sit-ups and planks and everything else, or going out for a run. The vision I have of myself when I'm 60 or 70 years old is that I can still go off running marathons 2 or 3 times a year. That's what I really want. But I know that if I don't exercise today, now that I'm in my 40s, in 30 years' time, that's not the time to restart an exercise program. I need to continue my fitness over the years and over the next 30 years so that I can achieve that goal of being able to run marathons when I'm 70, even when I'm 80. But it all starts now. And it reminds me of the Jim Rohn formula for success, which is a few simple disciplines practiced every day. And that's what it's about. A few simple disciplines practiced every day. The 2 key words in there are simple and discipline. So you've got to make sure that whatever it is that you're doing is simple, and you've got to make sure that whatever you're doing is like a discipline. You force yourself to do it. Even on those days where you really, really, really are not in the mood, you have to remind yourself, which goes back to the visualization of what it is you want to achieve, so that you can really motivate yourself to get up off the sofa or get out of bed and go and do what it is you have to do that's going to take you closer towards that goal. But, and I go back to my second point here, if you have too many goals lined up on a piece of paper, like I think Brian Tracy actually suggests that you should have 12 to 15 goals all in one go, that is never going to work for me, because I tried that in my early 20s and it cost me 10 years of my life trying to focus in on what the hell was my goals. Once I narrowed it down to 2 or 3 goals, and which was essentially my fitness goals, which were very important to me, and also my professional goals, which would mean that I could achieve the material things that I want to achieve, that's when things started changing. And that's when my whole mental determination to achieve those goals changed. And now I am so focused on what I want, I'm so focused on what I really want to achieve, and every single day is taking me closer towards those goals. And that is what you're looking for. If you have 10 to 15 goals on a piece of paper, that's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to dedicate enough time and enough focus towards the goals that you want to achieve if you've got too many goals. But, and this is the big but in this, those 10 to 15 goals might indeed be goals that you really, really want. And don't lose them. This is why I use a someday maybe project, because there are other things that I would like to achieve in my lifetime. But the ones that are really important to me right now are the ones that I'm focused on. You can't focus on all of them at one time. You just have to pick 2 or 3, preferably 1 if you can do it, whether you focus on your professional goal or a personal goal, it doesn't really matter. But if you can just focus on one of them until you've achieved it and then move on to the next one, you're going to find yourself having so much more energy, so much more focus, and you've got a much, much better chance of achieving that goal. Okay, I hopefully helped out some of those guys who answered my question on the Productivity in Tech Facebook group this week. Hopefully I've covered some of the problems there, but there are many, many other issues why people mentioned why they hadn't achieved their goals, and I will cover that in the project that I'm working on at the moment, so please don't worry. This is just one of those most common reasons why people were not achieving their goals, and I just wanted to cover that in today's episode of Working with Work. Thank you very much for watching this episode. I wish you all an amazingly productive week. And please guys, if you're watching these episodes, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. It really does help with my work. We've got lots of people subscribing because it pushes up our research results, and we get more people coming into this channel, and that just means that we can help so much more people. And I really do mean we here, because you guys are just amazing with your comments and your questions, and that just helps so many more people. So thank you very much for all of you who subscribed so far. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to this channel. I'm here to help you. Ask me any questions you like and I will answer them whenever I can. Thanks again guys, and see you in the next episode.